I think I'm just before lunch, so I hope I don't bore you guys. So I purposefully didn't want to come and preach to the choir. So I didn't want to come and give you gyan on banking in this room full of people who do that day in and day out. I used to hate it when someone used to do it to us when we were at telco. So I'm going to walk you through some anecdotes, some conversations that we have heard with our customers, what we see it in a day-to-day. Can I have a pointer, please? Thank you. You know, when we talk about banks, we always talk about an organization or a group of organizations which help you manage your risk, manage and give you returns on that. They manage the most important thing in your life after the roti, kapda, makan aspect of money, right? Whatever is your money, how do you make it work? And COVID was such a big risk, unprecedented, unimagined risk. The whole world shut down. And when the whole world shut down, banks didn't. No one was stepping out of the house, but we still had banks functioning on a day-to-day basis, even coming to work. And that's the entire lived experience that changed the world, that changed the way we see banks or financial institutions. A country which was, if I take 2019, our acceptance on global payments was the lowest. Our credit card usage was the lowest. Online shopping, online retail was still in the early adoption stage. Cut to where we are now. By 2030, we expect it to be the third largest consumption bank space, right? We're supposed to be an 800 billion digital economy. And this is propelled by one of the largest young populations. We have more than 65% of India's population who's under 35. You have the number of global payments. On the last count, the last UPI in January was 5.9 billion UPI transactions, which results in broadly $134 billion. So in the 3 years, digital transformation has scaled, and how. We are powered to be one of the largest digital economy, one of the largest banking economy, powered by 4 things broadly. A growing young population, more disposable income, a lot of government mandates and government incentives around it, and 4th, the evolution of digital channels, the new banks, the non-banks, beyond the traditional banks. And if you see the landscape of what it is now to what it was in 2019, it's a very evolved landscape of payments, of traditional banks, of consumer payments, of lendings, of merchant services. This, if you would have taken this picture 4 years back, it wouldn't have been like that. We have one of the largest fintech startup base in the country. But when you have all these forces at work driving change, there are multiple forces which are at work, right? You have changing what has that resulted? You have changing consumer expectations. We don't expect banks to work the way it did 2-3 years back. There's changing employee mandates. You want employees want things to be easier, more seamless, more streamlined, lesser manual intervention, more access to a single version of truth. So the employee expectation is also changed over the period of years. Changing dynamics of the market, right? What are the business models? Now, there are, as I said, we have neobanks now, we have non-traditional banks, you have companies which are not like your payment systems, which are not at all in the banking system. So the entire environment has changed. You have cards, we have more than 1 billion cards in circulation. So the entire environment has changed, and all this has to be wrapped up in a secure manner. And I'm an engineer, so I have to say that. So that gets me to Newton's second law, which says that, okay, how many of us don't know Newton's second law? I want to say how many of us know it. So force is when there is a substantial force that is a function of the momentum that you have. So it's no longer the big guys who we have to worry about. It's about the nimble guys. It's about the guys who are fast. It's about those companies which make a decision fast. So It's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that go to slow. So the David Goliath has changed. It's no longer the David Goliath, right? So when you have all these motions in space, in force, you have different models for innovation. What are your digital channels? What is your omnipresence customer experience? What are your cross-sell, upsell opportunities? How do I manage churn? And I'm saying, when I'm saying churn, I'm talking customer churn. I'm talking about employee attrition. Please, one of the biggest learning we have seen in the last 3 years is the amount of employee fatigue. And banking is an industry which people serve people, right? That there's no other industry which comes in as close to that aspect. If your employee productivity is low, if the employee well-being is low, how do you expect them to take care of anyone other than anyone else, right? So I think the entire churn, not only when it talks to operational efficiency, but employee productivity, governance control, and all that obviously has to be wrapped in technology. We talked, I heard the last fag end of the conversation before. The technology is the spearhead which is driving everything together, right? But it all has to be done wrapped in extremely secure, extremely regulated manner, because it is finally an industry which is extremely, extremely regulated, right? Where is the data residency? How is the data managed? How is the privacy managed? How is the security managed? So all this has to be considered not only at the platform, at the cloud, but also at the edge. So when you talk about edge, and there's the only sales pitch I'll do, the only one slide of sales pitch. Please go see our Surface Experience Center outside. But broadly, it's important that when we talk about security, we don't talk about security at the cloud. A lot of people talk about security at the cloud, security at the cloud. Securing the edge is extremely important, especially as more and more we do transaction in our personal computers, personal devices. The line between what is a device for work versus what is a device for personal has blurred. A lot of us transact, that line has kind of, the hybrid world, it's blurred. So it's very important that you secure both at the edge and at the cloud. I'm almost on time, so I wanted to kind of leave with one slide saying, when we talk about employee productivity, customer experience, digital transformation, is it really a cookie cutter approach? Is it really something that, oh, you know, I have done this for another bank, I can do it for you? It's not that. It's about your culture, your values, right? What is exactly your vision as a bank? And that may vary from bank to bank. Are you catering to a rural audience? Is your bank having a very strong rural presence? Please understand, now for every 10 urban accounts, there's a 7 rural accounts that's formed. Because with mobile reach, India is the second largest mobile internet user country. And we have the largest amount of internet population. With that, the rural banking becomes very big. I remember a couple of years back, there was a scheme called JAM, right? Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile. So you link your Aadhaar card to the Jandhan bank to your mobile number, and that becomes the entire ecosystem. And that whole Jandhan Yojana opened up the entire rural banking. So what is the audience you're catering to? So your vision is to, how do I grow that in the current scheme of hybrid work? Who are my employees? How do my employees cater to? How will they work in locations? It opens a completely new base of employees who wouldn't have typically been working in a bank otherwise, right? You could access a local catchment of employees rather than bringing them from cities or different urban towns. So what's your vision? What's your strategy? What's your business model? Second, what's your culture? What are you representing as an organization? What is your key principles, right? What do you hold close to you? So what's your culture? The third is, what is that unique potential? As I mentioned banks, I mentioned rural as one opportunity. Second is in the entire digital payment system. Third is your entire linkage of your mobile payments and your entire UPI, whole transaction. So the different aspects, what is the unique potential that you want to achieve, you want to cater to, which is that niche that you want to create? Or are you a traditional bank which wants to do everything and doesn't want to be left out, and you want to ensure that you have a bit and piece of everything which is happening in the country? And fourth, what are your current capabilities? As we said, everything now is mapped with technology. Technology, you can't live without it at the moment, especially after the 3 years of lived experience of COVID. Technology is the underlying layer. So what is your current capability? How much is legacy? How much you need to modernize? And what you need to do or what you need to build in order to get what you have or what you want to achieve between the first three pillars of your, what's your vision, what's the culture, and what's the potential you want to achieve. Now, when you wrap all of it in the capability of technology, you have to ensure that your technology meets three things. One, are we meeting with the changing driving forces of customer expectations, right? Are we making it seamless? Are we making it transactionless? Are we making it less transactions? Are we making it paperless, right? The second one is how are you improving your employee productivity by ensuring that are we making them have lesser manual interventions? Are we giving them a single version of truth to kind of get all the information? Are we looking at their own well-being and productivity to ensure that they are in the best state of mind to cater to your customers? And third, and the most important, is are we meeting the regulations which is appropriate for that country, that function, that potential, right? So when you have all that, that's a part of your capability. And then that's your digital transformation journey. I always say that to all my customers, digital transformation is not a cookie cutter. No two banks or no two customers are the same. So I'll leave you with this. When you're going on your journey, please see these 4 pillars, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.